Since 1994, folks have trusted Neptune Radiator and Auto Repair with their automotive needs. From tires to tune-ups, we do everything except glass and bodywork. We're a complete auto care center. We service all makes and models. Let us be your one-stop shop. With over 40 years combined experience, we have ASE Master Mechanics. Call 620-231-5890 and ask for Jeff or Michelle. Neptune Auto Repair, 602 West 4th Street, Pittsburgh.
Hi, everybody. Tom Van Hoy with this edition of the Pitt State Football Showcase. Brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. This week with Pitt State junior quarterback Anthony Abenoja. Out of Overland Park, Kansas, played at Blue Valley High School in the Kansas City area for Pitt State offensive coordinator Steve Rampy. Pitt State opened the season convincing 45-6 win over Northeastern State of Oklahoma. Saturday night, home before more than 10,000 at Carney Smith Stadium. Abenoja, a big game. 18 out of 24, 228 yards, throwing the football, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 18 and 28 yards to Gavin Ludman, and 23 yards to Luke Rampy for a score. Rushed 11 times, 86 yards, a touchdown on a 17-yard run. 314 total yards. Pitt State had 582 total, 354 rush, and 228 pass. Abenoja named MIAA Offensive Player of the Week. It was a great start to the season on Saturday night.
Yeah, we were pretty excited. It was the first home opener in about 4 years that I know of. We were really excited. We couldn't wait to get out there and play someone else besides ourselves.
Hey, before we talk about the game, you mentioned first time, long time that you guys have opened at home in a while. What was it like on the walk over to the stadium before the ball game?
Oh, it was insane. It's I noticed some things differently than I did last year, and each year is a different story for us as a team, and the walkover was just amazing.
What does it mean to you, particularly at the Division II level, to be able to play before a crowd like that, and what does it mean to you?
It means a lot. It's great to play in front of a crowd like we have and the sport we have, and we really appreciate what the fans do for us.
It's also nice to get off to a fast start, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's our main goal, and we're going to try to do it every game. First time we get the ball, we want to score, and every time we get the ball, we want to score. That's our goal, and we don't like settling for field goals.
As far as the game plan going in, what was it like? Because as it played out with 582 total yards and you got 354 on the ground, had you anticipated playing that way?
Yeah, I think we like to keep it balanced. We don't like to be, just run heavy or just pass heavy, because then teams can just key on one thing or the other. So we like to be pretty balanced and keep teams guessing.
Did Northeastern defensively do anything that you didn't expect?
No, we were pretty well prepared. Our coaches did a great job coaching us up, during the week, and Coach Rampy did a great job letting me know what I'm going to see and what I will see out there on the field.
Tom Van Hoy with Pitt State quarterback Anthony Abenoja on this week's Pitt State Football Showcase, brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. So, Anthony, how do you feel, or how did you feel for Game 1 this year versus 1 year ago, your first year as a starter?
I felt pretty relaxed and comfortable. I was more in the zone, I guess, this year. I didn't let the outside stuff affect how I played or anything like that. I was more ready this year.
Do you get nervous before a game?
No, not really. I've only been nervous once, before a game. That was when I was a sophomore year in high school, and it didn't work out so well. So I just don't get nervous anymore.
Who'd you play that day up in Kansas City?
I actually didn't play that day. I got nervous for nothing. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's why I never get nervous anymore.
As a junior now, and again, you came into a situation off a national championship the year prior and thrown into a starting role, and now as a junior and a second-year starter, how important is it for you to take on a leadership role?
It's pretty important. Every team, needs a leader, and, we have a bunch of leaders on the team, so, it really helps that it's not all on my shoulders.
Now, you raised the bar, didn't you? 18 out of 24 throwing the football. I don't know where you go from here after that. There were some passes that I missed a couple of receivers on, and some misreads on my part. So there's always room for improvement. Are you pretty critical when you go back and assess how you played in a ball game?
Yeah, I'm very critical along with our coaches. We don't settle for anything less than that. If there's something we can improve on, we're going to work on it to improve it.
What kind of relationship and maybe input do you have with, say, Coach Rampy, the offensive coordinator?
It's a pretty good relationship. I have a pretty good relationship with all the coaches. If I ever do something wrong or, need to work on something, they're not afraid to let me know.
Well, everybody knows about John Brown, the All-American, great receiver, return man for Pittsburgh State. And you've got some other guys that are pretty good out there and able to move it around. And Gavin Lutman had a couple as well, catches for some touchdowns for you. So I guess if some teams decide to key on John Brown, you've got good guys you can go to.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of talented guys on the team, and our receivers are talented as well. They all bring something different to the table, so it's just going to be hard to key on just one receiver and, one receiver's talents, because we have a lot of talent on the team.
Is it tough from your standpoint when you have a guy like John Brown, even though he may be double-teamed, to try to force it in there, or can you go somewhere else with the ball?
I can always go somewhere else with the ball. John Brown, he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a great football player, really smart. But, if they're double-teaming him, I don't want to try to force anything. And, if I have one-on-one coverage with another receiver, I'm going to take my chances there.
Were those options, was that how it played out against Northeastern? Did they double him quite a bit?
Yeah, they doubled him a couple times. On the touchdown to Gavin Lutman, they doubled him. They put the safety over him, and, left one-on-one with Gavin Lutman and Luke Rampy, and I just picked the other receiver.
Tom Van Hoy visiting with Pitt State quarterback Anthony Abenoja on this week's Pitt State Football Showcase, brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. How about 11 carries for 87 yards? Was that plan going in, or just how it played out?
I think that's just how it played out. I'd like to run the ball a little more than I did last year. It brings a little something else to our offense, and whatever I can do to help the team out is what I'm going to do. Is
this offense a rhythm offense? I mean, once you get into it, and it seemed like that happened against Northeastern State, you get on a roll. Is it that type of offense?
I'd say every offense likes to get into a rhythm. And once you get into rhythm, it's hard to get an offense out of a rhythm unless something terrible happens. But hopefully we do better with adversity and that kind of stuff this year.
Offensive line must have played pretty well for you as well.
Oh, they did an amazing job. They're doing a fantastic job this year. During fall camp and during the week's practice, they're doing a great job. I mean, they're going up against our defense every day, so it's making them better. But they're doing a fantastic job. I mean, that's the only reason why I had 0 sacks, and, Jeff Siebel had that 80-yard touchdown run, and, I got to carry the ball 11 times for 82 yards or whatever it was. The O-line's doing a great job.
You mentioned Jeff Siebold, and I think maybe if there was a question mark in some people's minds, it might have been at running back spot, but those guys played pretty well for you the other night.
Oh, yeah, they did. They did a tremendous job. Stephen Sullivan came in and first time and scored a touchdown. He was pretty excited about that, but, they couldn't do it without the O-line. None of us could do it without them.
What kind of latitude do you have as a quarterback when you go to the line of scrimmage, the play's called, and you take a look? Do you change it much, or I guess what kind of ability do you have at the line of scrimmage to change the play if you want to?
I can't change it. I usually don't, just because I trust in what the coaches see. And then if I don't understand it, I go ahead and go through with it, just because they probably see something that I don't see. And then we'll go and talk about it on the sideline once the series is over. But I usually try not to change it, just because I trust my coaches and what they're doing.
Can you talk about how the play call comes in and the timing and the communication that it takes to get that play in time?
Oh, yeah. The coaches do a great job of doing that. I mean, we have, sometimes 25 seconds, and, the clock gets set faster than it does in high school. So, they have to make the decision. They have to see what the defense is in and what kind of package we're going to throw in at them. So they do Coach Rampy and Coach Wells and all the offensive coaches. They do a great job working together and getting that done.
Tom Van Hoy visiting with Pitt State quarterback Anthony Abenoja on this week's Pitt State Football Showcase, brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. 2 years ago, Pitt State wins a national championship. Last year, you didn't make the playoffs. Sense of urgency this year, or maybe purpose because you didn't get in last year?
Yeah, we definitely have a reason to work hard this year. Last year we, after winning a national championship, we had mostly the same talent. We felt like we were more talented last year, and that kind of got to our heads last year. This year we know no matter how talented you are, no matter how good your team can be, you have to go into practice every day and work your butts off, because if you don't, you're going to go 7-3 like we did last year.
How about team chemistry? How do you feel it is right now this year for this team?
I feel like it's pretty good. It can always get better. Each and every day we're always working on it, just because team chemistry is very important, especially in the game of football. You have to be able to trust each other and love each other like brothers.
How good can this team be?
Honestly, I don't know. For this team, the sky's the limit. We just have to keep working hard and keep doing what we do and working on our weaknesses, and we can go as far as we want to, as long as we keep working hard and stay level-headed. Is
it tough to balance football and academics?
Yeah, it's really tough. We're going all year round, and then in the spring we're up at 5:00 in the morning, and we're doing more than what people do an entire day just in the morning before we go to classes. So it's really tough to juggle all that around, but that's just something we have to do, and that's something we've done our entire lives pretty much.
What's a typical week for you in terms of how much time you spend on football and away from football?
I spend a lot of time with football. It's probably just about half and half, just because there's a lot of film studying. You can never study too much film, and talk to the coaches about what you're going into next week. And then off the field, you got to spend time keeping your grades up and doing all that stuff with academically. So I try to split it half and half. And sometimes football takes over a little bit more, but late nights happen. But there's a lot of time consumed with both.
Are you a film study guy?
Yeah, I like to watch a little bit of film, but once I know, I feel like I got a good handle, and the coaches do a great job of getting our scout team to assimilate what their defense is going to do. And I like to watch film to see what kind of athletes they have and how the safeties and linebackers move and how the D-line moves. It's just nice to know what kind of talents they have.
To circle back to your second year as a starter now, just from an experience standpoint, when you go to the line of scrimmage, I mean, you really have to get that kind of baptism under fire, don't you, to be able to see and read and react. And from that standpoint, I think that your comfort level this year will be a lot better. Yeah, I am a lot more comfortable at the line of scrimmage this year. I go up there and I see what they got. And, there's only so much a defense can do, no matter if they're running a 4-3 or a 3-2-5 or whatever it is they're running, or 4-2-5. But there's only so much a defense can do, and I just have to do a good job of recognizing it. And it's really hard for defenses to hide, what they're doing right before I snap the ball. So I try to get that pre-snap read early. So how'd you end up at Pittsburgh State?
Well, Coach Rempe was my head coach and offensive coordinator at my high school. Honestly, I was looking at some other schools, and I was probably just going to go the JUCO route and then go to K-State. And Coach Rempe ended up being the offensive coordinator here at Pitt State, and I thought it was a really good opportunity, so I pursued Pitt State, and they started pursuing me as well, so it just worked out like that.
Is this the same type of offense that you ran in high school, or is it a little bit more expansive?
It's a little different. It has, we only have just a handful of plays from high school, and that are the same. So, it's different in its ways, and in some ways it's the same.
Is it complicated to understand?
No, that's probably where it's the same. Like the vocabulary is pretty similar, so I didn't have to really learn a new vocabulary for the plays or anything like that. There are new plays, a lot of new plays I didn't have in high school, but the vocabulary is pretty much the same, so it's easy to understand.
So how big is that playbook?
It's pretty big. We have a lot of plays. Some games we don't get very deep into our playbook if we don't need to. But it's pretty big. A lot of different formations, a lot of different plays.
You need to tell them that you need to get an iPad, right, so that you don't have to go back into the facility to watch it. to watch the video, right?
Yeah, I like going into the facility to watch it just because I learn a lot more watching it with Coach Rampy and the coaches. Because in high school I didn't really watch film, and so I'm still learning on how to watch film and what to look for.
Hey, as we wrap it up here, give me the terminology for some play that you guys run. We always hear this ZX out, double back. What's a play call for? Give me a play call.
It'd be like R power yo-yo, 44 pass, wide double cross. That'd be something that we would call.
Now, are you looking down at your wrist? Do you have that on a wristband?
No, we don't have that on a wristband.
Okay.
The wristband is for something else.
Is it difficult to remember all of that?
No, because once I get the sign, I try to say it as not as fast as possible, but I try to get into the huddle as quick as possible, just so I don't slip on my wordage or anything like that. But it used to be hard when I first got here, but now I've been in the system for about 4 years now. So the wordage is getting a lot easier.
That's Pitt State junior quarterback Anthony Abenoja on this week's edition of the Pitt State Football Showcase, brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. Pitt State on the road Saturday night, Edmond, Oklahoma, taking on Central Oklahoma, a 6 o'clock kick there. Central lost to Missouri Southern on Thursday night, September 5th, 52-38. Pitt State beat UCO 34-19 home last year. Central preseason number 10, the MIAA Coaches Poll, 11 in the media poll. Pitt State up 5 spots this week, ranked 16. The Division II Coaches Poll, Northwest Missouri 3 and Missouri Western 6. That's the showcase for this week. I'm Tom Van Hoy.